Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. Thank you for joining us today.
Gracias por unirse a nosotros hoy.
It feels helpful to hear from the mighties you're experiencing is that you're having with Jesus going through chapter 20.
Se siente útil escuchar de los poderosos que estás experimentando es lo que estás teniendo con Jesús pasando por el capítulo 20.
Jesus has promised to help anyone who would like to go through chapter 20, and this is a beautiful way to develop a relationship with him.
Jesús ha prometido ayudar a cualquiera que quiera pasar por el capítulo 20, y esta es una manera hermosa de desarrollar una relación con él.
And just to describe for anyone else who would join, because some beings may see this who haven't started working on chapter 20. Chapter 20
Y solo para describir a cualquiera que se uniría porque algunos seres pueden ver esto que no han comenzado a trabajar en el capítulo 20.
So specifically, we're talking about chapter 20 in Jesus, a new covenant.
Gabón específicamente estaban hablando de capítulo 20 en Jesús, un nuevo pacto.
This is a specific means given by Jesus to look directly with him at the desires for experience that deny divine light.
Este es un medio específico dado por Jesús para mirar directamente con él los deseos de experiencia que niegan la luz divina.
So there's a joining in light. There's a worksheet for chapter 20, and you just join with a partner. If you'd like a partner, you can contact us. We'll try and set you up with someone, and with your partner, you just listen to Jesus, and he'll step you step by step through that chapter to uncover the desires below the level experience that deny divinity.
Así que hay una unión en la luz. Hay una hoja de trabajo para el capítulo 20 y usted acaba de unirse con un socio. Si desea una pareja, puede ponerse en contacto con nosotros. Tratará de establecer con alguien con su pareja. Solo tienes que escuchar a Jesús y él te dará un paso a paso a través de ese capítulo para descubrir los deseos por debajo de la experiencia del nivel que negó la divinidad.
So with that, I'm just going to open up the session to anyone who would care to share.
Así que con eso voy a abrir la sesión a cualquiera que quiera compartir.
Mercy. Hi, Mary.
Hi. Hi, everybody. I was just checking in, and now I'm cutting to tears. This joining with Jesus, joining with the light and with the partner, has been the most powerful experience I've ever had in joining with Jesus and with my partner and the oneness. and feeling totally safe, such a gentle process, feeling totally safe to look at stuff that I would not choose. The ego would certainly not choose on its own to look at. And in joining, starting right out at the get-go, joining with the light, joining with Jesus, and then continually checking in to see what we're hearing, to see what Jesus is saying. Brings about experiences that I could not have, the ego could not have anticipated. I could not have imagined. It's like things open up that are unexpected. And so my partner and I have been going at it for, yeah, and there's this growing experience of trust and gentleness. That seems to be just lightening everything up. And the partner then being a witness, a reflection, a mirror, and having things come through that I wouldn't see, that are expanding and going deeper under the guidance. It's just a very powerful and amazing experience. And Jesus says I can say process. Yeah. There are desires and beliefs in this chapter that sometimes I'm like you say, Kate, ow, 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 ow. I feel like I want to usurp the power of God. Oh, you've got to be kidding. Oh my gosh, I do. Wow, look at how that showed up. And there also develops, or whatever occurs, a finer tuning of when I'm aligned and when I'm not. And a greater awareness of the sameness of the world's experiences, you might say, the inner and the outer. Yeah. So that's it for right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Beautiful. I think you and Irene are doing these every day, right? Is that?
We sometimes go for an hour and a half a day, and we've been going for 5 or 6 weeks now. I don't even know when we started. And sometimes when we begin our sessions, we're just like, okay, we bring, we bring in the light, we check in, and then we're like, well, I need to clear something. Something will have just come up, or, there's a kerfuffle going on, and we'll say, okay, before we get started on the first desire, I need to clear this with every, and then something Marguerite just shared this last week was that she and her partner will text each other. I'm making a decision about this. What are you hearing? And so my partner and I have started that, and it's more and more letting go of control and checking in and trusting. Yeah. I guess you could say it stirs the pot. It not only, the experiences not only provide a lightening up, but it often we get down to the death wish. It gets clear down to where we just want to kill God off. Oh my gosh. If you would have told me 6 months ago, I would be saying those words. I'm like, nah, not me. I'm not going to say those words. I'm not going to admit to that. However, in the looking at just the desire without the experience or the emotion or the feeling involved in it, or the meaning, kill God off, what does that mean? Just looking at the desire, just exposing that desire. And sometimes it's just looking at it. And something shifts. And it's really quite amazing how gentle the energy is, and how other seeming events going on are all kind of weaving together. I don't know how to explain it. It's, yeah. Maybe I should, let me see. Okay, well, Jesus says I can say this, and it ain't for sissies. This ain't for sissies. I was going to say, is that my ego, or is that, so yeah, he said I can say it. It ain't for sissies. You just got to, there's, however, the way Jesus set this up with partners and the way this chapter is done is, a way to trust and open to love. And that's a biggie for my ego. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. You mentioned two things that are worth emphasizing here, because Jesus did talk about this, and we can see the reflections coming up. One, that the power that sharing decisions with your partner to listen, to make sure you're hearing Jesus clearly, that this helps with that voice and hearing that voice and clearing them, and seeing when we think we're getting prompts to test it with our brothers. So that's very beautiful that you talked about it, Mary. And the other part that you talked about is Jesus taking all the way down to the death wish, because as long as there's a belief that whatever this desire is has value, it'll be kept until it comes together, almost like it's brought to the light that that desire does not have any value because it is death. Whereas the ego would make our desires a means to get salvation, Jesus would turn them back into it so that we look directly and collapse that belief below the level of awareness that these desires have some value. And he does that by bringing us down to see the death wish in that desire, to collapse that, the wanting of that particular objective experience. It's very, very powerful what you're pointing to. So thank you for talking about that. Would anyone else like to share their experience with going through? Oh, tap. Okay. You can also ask questions too. Feel free. Whatever is coming. Okay.
So I can talk now? Because
Yeah.
I'm just still in the little screen. I really liked it when Mary said, "This ain't for sissies." But what I want to jump to as well, sometimes it's a little bit challenging reading chapter 20, but what I really want to address is the rest of my life. I've come to feel Jesus's and the infinite's presence more in the rest of my life. Like if I say Tatsy's my personality self, and Tat, which was my original name, and it's also the Sanskrit for, well, my favorite translation is the indescribable absolute. So if Tat is my higher self, it's like they're switching places. And Tat is becoming the orchestra leader. And Tatsy's working into the background. And so that feels incredibly magical to me. And that's all I have to say. Thanks.
been so helpful to see that I have the power through asking Jesus for help to clear these denials that I didn't realize were there. And then just to experience the joining with my brother and the sameness, and just it's becoming more of a celebration every day. Thank you.
Yeah, it is a very direct looking, and it's really acceptance of how powerful we are just to look this directly. And it's the power just comes in more and more since it's no longer denied anymore, and just having to stand into it, and in the play of consciousness, see in the diversity of ways that consciousness will play to avoid looking. You get to see that too in this, see how you go to start focusing and all of a sudden you're in dreamland somewhere. You got to bring back and come. It's just such a great, you just learn all about it. He teach you all about how consciousness plays to avoid divine light, or Mary says to try to kill that light with every bit of energy possible, to try to kill it out of awareness. Thank you, Irene.
Thank you. It's so amazing to me how when how I think I know what something's for and I don't have a clue, and doing these joinings in this chapter 20, it's been so it's been so amazing.
Oh, I just realized for Lena, I haven't been trying to capture this on Spanish. So we'll see if I can pick it up, although I'm not sure it's going to pick up off the TV. I just realized I haven't been getting this for you, Lena. And so I'll try and see if we can get it.
Acabo de darme cuenta de que no he estado recibiendo esto para usted, Lena. Así que trataré de ver si podemos conseguirlo.
I think Renee, you might have to hold it close to the speaker over there so it'll pick it up. I'm not sure how we're going to do this actually. Because
Puede que tengan que mantenerlo cerca del orador de allá, así que lo recogerá. No estoy seguro de cómo vamos a hacer esto en realidad.
Okay, I tell you what, Irene, you can try and speak and I'll see if it'll pick it up.
So, Lena, can you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, ready? Go, Irene. Hit the.
Can you understand what I'm saying, Lena? See? No?
It's not.
I don't know.
Gonna pick it up. Okay.
I'm not gonna do it. And I don't speak Spanish, so. But it's really weird because with all this Spanish going on, these Spanish words are coming into my head all the time, and I'm going, what does that mean? So it's really interesting with all this translating.
What we'll do is we'll just ask Dyra if she'll dub this for Lena.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Lo que vamos a hacer es que solo le preguntaremos si ella va a traducir todo esto por Lena.
Okay, Irene, go ahead.
So what's interesting is that the more chapter 20 joining that we're doing, there's helpful things being reflected on both sides for us, and it's the lack of separation, if you will, is just it's like all this washed out separation, and also with the desires. And Mary said something one day, I don't remember what it was, because I was having a hard time seeing the desire or understanding or whatever, and she just came out and she goes, you don't have to experience the desire to look at it. I mean, and just a little thing like that was like, I knew it was like Jesus coming through so that I didn't get stuck, and just little things like that. She'll say things, and then I get the reflection from her that things I'm saying, she picks up. It's just kind of amazing how it's coming. And it's almost like this, for what it seems like now, is like this dance going on between the light circles, the chapter 20, the looking, the other joining, and then life. It's like it's all weaving together, and it's almost like the contrast between the ego desires and the light desires are becoming, it's like they're coming right, I'm experiencing them. So the lesson we're doing in the light circle, and then the chapter 20, it's like I'll walk out and it's like it's all right there. It's like I can see it, playing out, and it's become easier to recognize the contrast between the ego's voice and Jesus's voice. And so this morning was like one of the first times I woke up, before I woke up, and I realized I don't want to hear Jesus's voice. I mean, I really realized it. It's like to that level. And it was like so easy to just say, okay, I don't want to hear you today. And I've heard you say that so many times, I don't know. And I always thought I didn't kind of get that. So things, so hard to put some of this stuff into words. The separation between all that is becoming frayed, if you will. So, and when we went to chapter 20 the other day, and I opened it up and I realized it feels like we've been doing this for like a long time, and we're like, I don't know, a quarter, maybe even a third through the whole chapter. And I'm going, oh my God, I thought we were further through it. And so it's interesting what it's doing, what it's doing for the clearing, what it's doing to bring this whole experience to life, if you will, to light. It's more to light. And the thing is that I don't have to, I can come into our joining without like preparing or having to feel a certain way or think a certain way, and just go into it exactly as whatever's happening. Go into the light, always starting with the light just brings so much clarity, and then dive into it. Because there's days where, I feel joined and connected and in tune. And then by the afternoon, I'm like, I don't want to listen anymore, and I joined a couple of times, joined Christy once in a while. She seems to be like where I can go, I don't like this, I don't believe this, I don't want to do this. She just lets me say all that, and then I can get, Jesus finds the way back. It's so amazing to me how much I will try to block the light, and how much I'm realizing it's impossible, and not even it's so much laughing at it, how silly it is to try to do it. So these desires, I'm really seeing, like you have been saying, it's the speed up, where Jesus just kind of pulled them all up out of A Course in Miracles, so it's not spread out over, and just said, all right, look at this, because this takes away the story and the drama and the emotions and all that stuff, and just goes right to the heart of the separation, and can bring you also right back to the heart of the connection. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'm just really I'm grateful for this process, but it's more of the new covenant and the way that this has all come about with it too, and that everybody's here every day. I love it, and I love my partner. I love you, Mary. And it's just thank you so much.
Thank you, Irene. It's helpful to say it takes a lot of dedication, because the avoidance, as you can see, here's like the meat of A Course in Miracles, just condensed down, a lot of it. Not, there are more things, because you got a book this thick, but to get to really the meat, and him providing a way you can talk to me and you can hear me, and you're going to hear me even better after working with me and letting me show you where the miracles are. And I feel like that is the message of that book. I'm in control of the cantonment, basically, and ask me where the miracles are, how to release the miracles, and where we don't want to release the miracles, and to have him show how precious that is. Really invaluable. It's really precious to have that kind of relationship where he shows us exactly what miracles are needed in these sessions. And he's doing that through our brother. It's like the whole Course in Miracles, like direct experience. It's really beautiful. But it does take focus, because the plain consciousness is to sidewind this and avoid it. So I'm glad you're taking whatever time he tells you need, actually. It's because he's got it covered for sure. So thank you, Irene. Any other shares that from your experience you'd like to talk about? We can do Are there any other shares from your experience with working on chapter 20 that anyone would like to share?
¿Hay alguna otra parte de su experiencia con el trabajo en el capítulo 20 que a alguien le guste compartir?
Marguerite, would you like to share anything around your experiences and working with Jesus and your partner through chapter 20? I know that you're joining very often.
Marguerite le gustaría compartir algo acerca de sus experiencias y el trabajo con Jesús y su pareja a través del capítulo 20. Sé que te estás uniendo muy a menudo.
Sure. Well, the main thing that I've noticed is that starting to join on chapter 20 wasn't fun at all. And now we do it every day. And it's still bringing up a lot of kerfuffling, but yeah, it's I would almost say the best moment of my day, because the practice of turning in is really it's really answering the call for love, the call for knowing where my safety lies. And like I shared yesterday in our joining, is that at one moment there was just this turning inward, and just it felt like leaving the world just behind me, because all I wanted to do was turn inwards. And in that release, there was such a coming up of love, an experience of love, and just wanting to connect with everything. And through that experience, I'm being taught that the habit of not letting anything come close, and I think it could be explained as there's a judgment, and then you judge that. So when you turn inwards, you still look at the desire, you still look at the judgment, but you let it come close in a way, because you're not looking at it from the perspective of being a body. And then it can't hurt you, it can't touch you. And even as I say it, there's steam arising just to admit this. But yeah, I think that's just such an answer to my call for love. It's like, how the heck do I do this? Well, by sticking with Jesus, sticking with the light, and being unwound from this habit of there being a judgment, and then thinking, now what? And how he is coaching us, well, coaching me through my brother, because my brother says the most beautiful things, just pointing upwards the whole time. And yeah, it's the most beautiful coaching session every day. Just being coached through my brother and through the insights. And yeah, right now for me, the main thing is that there was just always such a deep feeling of feeling unsafe. And through this joining on chapter 20, I'm like really in the dark, I see, but it's nighttime here. But anyway, who cares? Through this chapter 20, it was actually just a deeper commitment in myself, for the whole, just committing to looking and to being taught and being guided. Yeah, and sometimes it's just like, it's, oh, miracle already, Jesus, yes, already, yes, yes, yes. And then sometimes there's just one denial, and it can sometimes take an hour, one denial. And mainly because the resistance can be so high that he's just coaching us through first getting more gentle, just to allow, just to ask for a miracle on even looking at it. And then, yeah, we always end up looking at it, always. But it can take an hour and it can take 5 seconds. And it's so beautiful that what my partner and I have been noticing, that the denials that we're looking at for that day is always fully connected with the lesson that we have for that day. And we always go like, oh my gosh, or even the experience that we had for that day or the day before that's running in the mind. It's so extremely connected, all of it. Yeah, it's not even really about chapter 20. It's really about the commitment, and the commitment to listening, and the commitment to looking, and the commitment to commit to my mighty, which is just my brother, who's myself. It's all about that commitment. Yeah. And what's so much fun, which I didn't realize what was so much fun, is joining on decisions. That is a lot of fun. And the funny thing is that I don't think my partner and I have ever gotten different answers, ever. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just a big thank you to everyone.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder that it is that commitment. And it's like the whole package, because beings have been so coming to the light circles, which he promised that it would be revelation readiness. And it's the whole thing, you know, the lesson, he just knows how to put it all together for each of us. So thank you, Marguerite. And also you said something that was really beautiful. At first, there was a lot of resistance, even getting the teams to start to join. There were like all kinds of kerfuffling and not sure. And so it does take a lot of commitment to step into it, because there's going to be a lot of resistance to this direct a form because of the speed of it. And the ego likes the timeline. What you said was so beautiful in terms of like, you could just start to feel the enthusiasm. You start to have like, oh yes, I want to look now. You know, it'll ebb and flow a bit, but you'll just feel more inspired with the looking because you see the love that comes. Thank you. And certainly we can talk about the resistance. You know, it's all part of the same thing. It's all part of the play. It's all part of what we're all looking at. Because sometimes it doesn't look so. You don't want to look at some of these things, obviously, because who wants to ever admit they're usurping the power of God? So. So I'll just see if there's anyone that wants to talk, because they've been going through chapter 20 here, and just to see if anyone wants to share their experience with chapter 20.
Así que solo voy a ver si hay alguien que quiere hablar de Deep y pasar por el capítulo 20 aquí, solo para ver si alguien quiere compartir su experiencia con el capítulo 20.
Would you like to, Lena? Yeah. So Lena will come share her experience.
Selena vendrá a compartir su experiencia.
Bueno, yo realmente tengo poco tiempo viendo el capítulo 20.
Well, I really have little time looking at chapter 20.
Pero la experiencia que he adquirido es la certeza de que aquí está Jesús.
But the experience I have acquired is the certainty that Jesus is here.
Que uniéndose al hermano se facilita muchísimo porque él también me habla.
That joining the brother makes it much easier because he also speaks to me.
Así es como verificamos que somos una solamente.
This is how we verify that we are one mind.
Y bueno, la experiencia que me ha llevado a ir a sondear esos deseos inconscientes
And well, the experience that has led me to go and probe those unconscious desires.
ha sido una liberación y una certeza, vuelvo a repetir, de que Jesús está aquí conmigo y con todos.
It was a liberation and a certainty, I repeat again, that Jesus is here with me and with everyone.
Una liberación porque, por ejemplo, hace rato buscábamos la creencia en el deseo de morir.
A liberation because, for example, a while ago we repeated the belief in the desire to die.
Y Jesús me llevó al fondo de darme cuenta de que yo deseaba morir por sentirme desgajada.
And Jesus got me to the bottom of realizing that I want to die because I feel broken.
Aparentemente pareció un proceso muy profundo y difícil.
Apparently it seems a very deep and difficult process.
Pero cuando llegó el comunicado de Jesús, surgió como un volcán que hizo erupción.
But when Jesus' statement came, it appeared as a volcano that erupted.
Una gran emoción que no se puede describir profundamente desde adentro, que surgió hasta que se liberó y sentí una paz tan profunda.
A great emotion that cannot be described deeply from within that arose until it was liberated, and I felt such a deep peace.
Así es que bueno, mi experiencia es de agradecimiento y de que quiero seguir haciendo esto porque quiero sanar la mente.
So well, and experience is gratefulness that I want to keep doing this because I want to heal the mind.
Gracias por escucharme y por permitirme compartir.
Oh.
Thank you for listening to me and seeing you allow me to share.
We're very grateful for Lena to come here and see how the Spirit has been helping us, because we speak no Spanish and she speaks very little English, and somehow it's been very miraculous the whole way.
Muy agradecida por Lena venir aquí y ver cómo el espíritu nos ha estado ayudando porque no hablamos español y ella habla muy poco inglés y de alguna manera ha sido muy milagroso todo el camino.
Since you're here, can you speak so she can hear yours too?
Mhm.
Okay.
Hi, when I first heard about chapter 20,
Hola, cuando escuché por primera vez sobre el capítulo 20.
what drew me in was Kay asking Jesus, "Are you sure we have all the desires from the Course in Miracles in chapter 20?"
Lo que me atrajo y fue que le pregunté a Jesús, ¿estás seguro que tenemos todos los deseos de un curso de milagros en el capítulo 20?
And you asked him for his assurance on this several times, correct?
Well, I'll just better say.
Y usted le pidió su seguro en esto varias veces, ¿correcto?
I asked him if all the beliefs are in A Course in Miracles that are needed to awaken to true identity, and he said yes.
Le pregunté si toda la policía está en un curso de milagros que son necesarios para despertar a la verdadera identidad. Y él dijo que sí.
And that the major portion of them are, many of the deepest ones are in chapter 20. And he said after that, you won't have any challenges talking to me about anything else that comes up. Just-
Que la mayor parte de ellos son muchos de los más profundos están en el capítulo 20, y dijo después que no tendrán ningún desafío que me oscurezca sobre cualquier otra cosa que surja.
Hmm. So my experience with it is that I don't even want to try to define it.
Así que mi experiencia con esto es que ni siquiera quiero tratar de definirlo.
And what Irene said about the heart of the separation.
Y que dijo Irene sobre el corazón de la separación.
And the partner is hugging you through it in the looking.
Y la pareja está abrazando que lo arrojó en la mirada.
The willingness to stick with it.
La voluntad de seguir con ella.
And what's been very helpful for me is the worksheet for chapter 20.
Y lo que ha sido muy útil para mí es la hoja de trabajo para el capítulo 20.
It's starting to clear up for me so that I can kind of ask Jesus or have him hold my hand.
Está empezando a aclararse para mí para que pueda pedirle a Jesús o pedirle que me tome de la mano.
When the distraction, the thought, the memory, the meaning, the concept, the feeling tries to come in and distract.
Cuando la distracción, el pensamiento, los recuerdos, me refiero al concepto, el sentimiento trata de entrar y distraer.
So with the willingness to stick with it, no matter what.
Así que con la voluntad de seguir con él, no importa qué.
I feel clarity and like a softening of the
Siento claridad y como una suavización de la.
As the iceberg of concepts are collapsing in this asking of Jesus' help.
Como el iceberg de conceptos están colapsando en esta petición de la ayuda de Jesús.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Really.
Gracias, gracias. Eso es hermoso, realmente.
Yeah, several of you have put it in such a beautiful way at how it really does go to the heart of what the desire to be separate is so quickly to look at, yeah.
Si varios sí lo ponen de una manera tan hermosa y como realmente va al corazón de lo que el deseo de estar separado es tan rápidamente.
And as someone put, there's just no wiggle room on this when you're working with Jesus.
Y si alguien pone su estrés, no hay espacio para moverse en esto cuando estás trabajando con Jesús.
Yet the truth is, like, when we really look at it, we wouldn't want it any other way because we've all just played the consciousness game for a long time.
Sin embargo, la verdad es como cuando realmente la miramos. No lo querríamos de otra manera porque todos nosotros solo jugamos el juego de la conciencia durante mucho tiempo.
It would be beautiful to hear, like, if any big resistances came up along the way and how Jesus, did any of your experience with Jesus, like, kind of coaching you through it? Like when you really didn't want to go through it, but you wanted to try and listen to him. Does anybody have anything to share on that?
Sería hermoso escuchar como si alguna gran resistencia surgiera a lo largo del camino y como Jesús hizo algo de su experiencia con Jesús como una especie de entrenamiento a través de ella. Como cuando usted realmente no quería ir a través de, pero quería tratar de escuchar lo que es que cualquiera tiene algo que compartir sobre eso.
I got one.
Okay, Marguerite, and then if you would, Lori. Okay. Thank you, Marguerite. If you want to speak, and then we'll invite Lori.
Yes. Well, I remember now what was brought up in the mind is that several times I really, we really had to use that at least his name was in it, whatever was coming up. That didn't sound so beautiful because of the resistance. And what I really, really noticed is that when this resistance comes up pretty deep, it almost looks like my mighty gets very clear. And I know I don't have to know how that works, but that's how it really works for in our joining. Yeah, I'm trying. I don't know what to say about it because he keeps saying you don't have to know how that works.
That's a great reminder just to trust that it can come through the mighty too.
Yeah. Well, that's been a lot my experience on this chapter 20.
I feel like the other beautiful thing too, at least when we've joined, you know, and a reminder that just admitting, like, I don't want to friggin' see this at all. I find that it's like, Jesus, I'm not feeling like I'm wanting to be looking at that. Even just admitting that, I found that Like it's just a no to the looking all no, 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 but just admitting that big fat no. I found that. So we can see that Jesus isn't having a problem if we say no. You know, he's expecting it. Really. And the other thing I think that you were alluding to too, sometimes you do want to curse him out, but he doesn't mind that either. At least it's out in the open, you know, like how we really feel. And it's better. He's saying yes, because it lets that, you know, even if we go and complain to him, we're still talking to Jesus. Do you see? It's still, it's still kind of the open dialogue, because we are going to help, even if we're not really ready to accept it right away. You want to curse him out. But he knows that we're coming to talk to him then, and it's very beautiful.
Yeah, I think the desire to really look at the desire for the face of innocence, that was one that was like, I don't even want to look at that with you. Not at all. Because it like covers all the denials.
That's a good one to check in on, see if there's any residual energy back up in there. Is there any residual energy around face of innocence? Yeah, these go really deep to like, oh man, that's such a great description, right to the core. Right to the core and to the admission. And how powerful that honesty of God thing is, you know, I just admit, we just don't even want to look at all, not one shred, really. But he is making it easy. I mean, when you really start talking to him, that's experience here, you know, and then it becomes simple just to go, okay, I'm just saying no right now. I'm definitely wanting to say no, like in a big fat way. And then I'm not, who said it, you know, you start laughing because you see, well, I cannot want it, but there's no way I can totally obscure light. I mean, it's just, it's impossible. And then we have that contrast, we can laugh. So Lori, oh, go ahead.
No, that's it. I said, yes.
And they do get funny too, because it sounds pretty serious right now. And it feels really good to say that sometimes you just start laughing so ridiculously hard because you just see it. You just see, and you just cannot hide from the light. You want to kill it. You want to stomp it dead with every bit of energy that could ever arise. It's like, I see it. I just want to just kill that light dead. But it's out there then. It's just right out in front. So that's just gorgeous. Thank you, Marguerite.
Thank you.
No, why don't you come share it? Sounds good. It's great. And then Lena too can hear it. Yeah. Oh, I'm giving you the wrong. Okay.
So Kelly found a video of cats and dogs.
Así que Kelly encontró un video de
Kelly found a video of cats and dogs who were resisting going to the vet.
Kelly encontró un video de gatos y perros que se resistían a ir al veterinario.
And it went on for like 12 minutes, but it just showed the innocence and the absolute cuteness that we are.
Y continuó durante unos 12 minutos, pero solo muestra la inocencia en la absoluta amabilidad que somos.
So a few times I've tried to back out of this.
Así que algunas veces he tratado de salir de esto.
Like a popcorn kernel in hot oil.
Como un grano de palomitas de maíz en aceite caliente.
But as Marguerite shared, I felt like my partner had so much love there for me.
Pero como comparte Marguerite, sentí como si mi pareja tuviera tanto amor por mí.
Because I really do want to look with Jesus.
Porque realmente quiero mirar.
Yes, it's very, very humorous because you can see in that little video that Kelly shared a lot of all the ways of how consciousness plays to try to back out at looking like this, looking so directly. It's really funny. And we need the humor.
Sí, es muy humorístico porque se puede ver en ese pequeño video que Kelly compartió un montón de todas las formas de cómo juega la conciencia para tratar de retroceder mirando así tan directamente. Es realmente divertido y necesitamos humor.
I mean, it's so familiar, like all the squeaking and the groaning.
Es decir, es tan familiar como todo el chillido en el gemido.
And being splayed out, or however, to be so you don't have to go. No, Jesus, don't make me go.
Sin embargo, para no tener que ir. No, Jesús no me hace ir.
Jesus is saying this is a lot gentler and the outcome is going to be even better than the vet.
Jesús está diciendo que esto es mucho general o en el resultado va a ser aún mejor que el veterinario.
He says this is supreme happiness and your worthiness for that, worthiness to be as the Father made you.
Él dice que esta es la felicidad suprema y tu merecimiento por ese merecimiento de ser como el Padre te hizo.
It is the call of the heart to recognize only this and to celebrate only this with our Father and through our brother.
Es la llamada difícil de reconocer solo esto y de celebrar solo esto con nuestro Padre y a través de nuestro hermano.
So thank all of you for coming and just sharing your experiences, talk to show that everyone can speak to Jesus and that he's providing a means for us to look so directly and unsparingly at this desire for separation to see that it's completely untrue.
Así que gracias a todos ustedes por venir y simplemente compartir sus experiencias para mostrar que todos pueden hablar con Jesús y que Él está proporcionando un medio para que nosotros miremos tan directamente y el Espíritu lea este deseo de separación para ver que es completamente falso.
And to see how everyone who's with us on this is very needed for the whole.
Y para ver cómo todos los que están con nosotros en esto es muy necesario para el conjunto.
Sending you love from San Juan Costa with big hugs.
Te envío amor desde San Juan Costa con grandes abrazos.